Everybody, welcome to Jimmy Dore Show. I'm here with the political vigilante, Graham Elwood, who's going to be on tour with the Progressive Comedy Tour with Ron Placone in January. Go to ronplacone.com for tickets.
Or GrahamElwood.com.
Or GrahamElwood.com.
Either one.
Hey, so James Comey made a big statement, and I'm going to play it for you, and it's kind of interesting. It's all about Trump. Here we go.
The President of the United States is lying about the FBI, attacking the FBI, and attacking the rule of law in this country.
Wow, usually that's the FBI's job. Usually they attack the rule of law. They usually lie about the president. That's weird. That's weird. So how's it feel? Turn the tables on you, James. James Comey. Now, remember James Comey? The Democrats hated him.
Yeah.
They hated him. They blamed him for the election. And then they loved him afterwards because they were like, oh, my God, I love him now because he doesn't like Trump, too. So all you have to do is not like Trump, and Democrats will like they used to hate people like Max Boot and, Bill Kristol. Now they love him because they hate Trump. Same thing with James Comey. They used to hate James Comey. Now they love him. Isn't that weird?
I can't keep track of it. So, because we hated
Julian Assange.
Yeah.
We loved Julian Assange when he was exposing George Bush's war crime. Then we hated him.
We hated him.
Because he exposed Barack Obama's, and then because he showed Hillary Clinton and Democrats to be corrupt. So now we have to hate him.
We hate him. Mm-hmm. And same thing with Jill. So we hated Jill Stein, right? But then when she did the recount, we loved her.
We loved her for that. But now we hate her again.
Now we hate her again because she's a Russian stew.
Because she's Russians.
Okay.
Yeah, now James Comey we hated, but now we love him again. I don't know. It's hard to keep up with Stephen Colbert. Remember when Stephen Colbert said James Comey and everyone boo? He goes, no, it's good. Remember that?
Yeah. I wish there was a chart, like a neoliberal flow chart of who to like and not like and when.
And when. So here we go. So here's what he's got to say about the president. Watch this. This is kind of amazing. To me, it is.
How does that make any sense at all? Republicans used to understand that the actions of a president matter.
When was that? When was that? You going back to Lincoln? Are you going back to Lincoln? When did the Republicans used to understand that actions mattered? When? I mean, when Henry Kissinger and Nixon were in the office, did they understand? How about did they understand when, Iran-Contra, Ronald Reagan? How about when George Herbert Walker Bush pardoned all those people that he was in cahoots with? How about when George W. Bush lied us into a war with Dick Cheney repeatedly? How about when they ordered war crimes and torture to cover it up? When did the Republicans used to think that? When? You bullshitter. Bullshitter. Again, he's another bullshitter pretending corruption started January 2017. That's what he is, right?
It's
so funny, almost.
It's so preposterous because this is part of the insanity of the two-party system.
Yes.
Which is really just a facade.
It's a one-party corporate state.
Right. They don't want people to realize that there's not two parties, there's two classes. There's the ruling class and all of us.
Yeah.
So if we keep playing this game of this party good and that party bad, and then it flip-flops, then we're constantly distracted that the ruling class is sticking it to all of us. And when the ruling class has a fight, they make it seem like there's very different sides.
Very different. By the way, he's just as comfortable now telling people to vote Democrat. I mean, the Democratic Party is no longer repulsive to conservatives.
No.
You know why? Because they're conservatives.
Yeah.
That Democratic Party or the conservative party. So let's get back to this BS.
Words of a president matter, the rule of law.
When? When does the words of a president matter? When did the rule of law matter? When?
No.
When?
When Nixon was lying about illegally bombing Cambodia. That's when.
Was that when it mattered?
Yeah, that's when it mattered.
Because that's what they got him for, right?
Yeah, they called him out on that.
When? How about what was it? When it
matters and the truth matters. Where are those Republicans today?
When did the truth ever matter? We lie about Vietnam, lied about the first Gulf War, lied about the second Gulf War. When does the truth ever matter?
Well, President Ford, he didn't pardon Nixon. Oh wait, no, he did.
Oh, he did.
I get him all mixed up.
Oh, that's right.
That's right.
There wasn't a consequence. There we go.
At some point, someone has to stand up and in the face of fear of Fox News, fear of their base, fear of mean tweets, stand up for the values of this country and not slink away into retirement, but stand up and speak the truth. I find it frustrating to be here answering questions about things that are far less important than the values that this country is built upon.
Really? What values? Again, what are you what is he talking about? What values? The thing I like about Trump is he accidentally tells the truth sometimes. Or not even accidentally. He just, hey, why are you staying friends with Saudi Arabia after they killed that journalist Khashoggi? Because they're buying a lot of weapons. Oh, okay.
Thanks for shooting straight.
He does that kind of stuff all the time, Trump. And he's showing you that you can tell the truth about stuff and it's not the end of the world. Anyway, that's the irony of Trump. I don't want to get into it. That's the irony of Trump. Yes, he's just a big or bigger. He's probably the biggest liar. He lies all the time about big things and small. And apparently people just like it when politicians lie just about big things. It's the small things that seem to piss them off that Trump lies about.
You can lie about
politicians have always lied about big things. What?
You can lie about big things. Like, I want you to lie about the big things.
Yeah.
I don't want to know. I just want to. I want to be, recreationally offended at all of these little knick-knacky. Because that's what I've been conditioned to do. I've been conditioned to get mad about the Kardashians and, calling a country a shithole, or Tom Brady's jersey getting stolen, or your condition. So the big things like, hey, America was built on genocide and slavery. I don't want to hear that.
The values of our country.
The values of our country.
Yeah. The values of our country.
The values of our country are about giving, contaminated blankets to people, give them smallpox.
Right now, we're giving contaminated water to the people of Flint.
Yeah.
Right now, we're the world's largest penal colony. We lock up mostly minorities. It's the new Jim Crow. So the values. I love how the values, this country. The values. The head of the FBI talk about the values of this country. So now watch, he sits down with Nicole Wallace. Now, if you don't know who Nicole Wallace is, she used to be the press secretary for the George W. Bush administration. Okay, so just keep that in mind. You know what Sarah Huckabee Sanders does for Trump? Well, Nicole Wallace used to do it for George Walker, not Walker.
George Walker Bush.
What does the W stand for? Maybe Walker, who knows? George W. Bush. Because his father, George Herbert Walker. Is it just George Walker?
Probably. He gave him the same name.
I don't even know. Anyway, who cares? That's not important to the values of this country.
Jimmy, the values of our
country. So watch this BS affair. I'm not saying that the things that they're going to say in this clip shouldn't be said at some point, but not by these people. Watch.
Part of normalizing all of the conduct is rushing through it. So let's not rush through what you just said. He accused you of a serious crime, lying to Congress, and there are no consequences.
And there are no consequences for Trump, who accused the FBI of lying to. And there's no so she's upset that there's no consequences for stuff that Trump does that's rude and yeah. Guess what? There's also no. What were the consequences for your boss lying us into an illegal war? Joe Biden just gave him a medal. What were the consequences for the Bush administration? What were they? You know what they were? Nothing. Now they go on Ellen and dance with Ellen. And Joe Biden gives them medals. What consequence? This again, upside down, black is white, totally different standard. Believe me, I oppose Trump's policies as much as anyone. But to Trump, because we have Trump, we have to now listen to pieces of it like Nicole, who was the mouthpiece of a warmongering war criminal organization. She was the mouthpiece of war criminals. And now somehow she's a moral good person because Trump just acts outwardly the way these people act in secret. They all do the same policies. You don't think that? Look at the tax cuts, war. Trump's actually doing less war.
This is what were the consequences when Bush pulled us out of the Kyoto Accord, right?
Yeah. What were the consequences?
There was none. So now we're facing even stricter climate collapse. What was the consequences? It's so funny to me when I see this two-sided. They all act like they've never done anything wrong.
History started January 2017.
Everything was so great. We were a free-flowing democracy.
This is right. This is stunning, right?
It's unbelievable to me. Like
Yeah.
George, I mean, there's no consequences. Michelle Obama's taking huggy photos. George, liberals are saying
No consequences.
I miss the days of George W.
Yes. No consequences for actual war criminals. But you want a consequence for Trump because he says mean things about the head of the FBI. Mhm.
I mean, the Justice Department is fully functional, or I mean, what does that mean? That no one can pick up the phone and say that, Mr. President, you just accused the former FBI director of a felony.
Well, the people.
Yeah, and guess what the former FBI director is accusing him of almost every day? Treason. I just don't. I just, honest to God, that people can just sit there and just erase their brain of all history, of all knowledge, and to have someone like Nicole Wallace, the dregs of humanity. She was the mouthpiece for literal war criminals. And now somehow, and then she gave us, guess who else she gave us? Sarah Palin. And now Nicole Wallace is a good person because she's on MSNBC and Rachel Maddow giggles with her. These aren't good people. This is the liberal class. I know Nicole Wallace says she's a conservative. She's part of the liberal class. And they ain't your friend. They're the mouthpieces of the oligarchs, and she still is. And she'll never pay a price because when Nicole Wallace lies, she lies at the behest of the establishment. There's never a price to pay for lying when you lie for the establishment. Look at Joanne Reed. Look at MSNBC's entire story selection. It's one big bullshit lie. No one ever has to pay a price for it. Look at all those articles that the New York Times and the Washington Post ran last week based on that bullshit study by New Knowledge that we've been debunking every day since. No one will pay a price for that.
Did Donna Brazile pay a price?
Did Donna Brazile pay a price?
Has Debbie
Did Debbie
Wasserman
Wasserman Schultz? No.
No, they have not. None of these people pay.
Hillary Clinton?
All this is just some sort of like two rival like criminal gangs fighting. That's what it is. It's like, hey, man, your drugs have killed a lot of school kids when I'm murdering people in my own neighborhood, or like two rival country clubs that are just, it's unreal.
I can't believe there isn't a third, like the Republican Party hasn't because they have split. Like this guy's a Republican. And so all those guys like Bill Kristol and all those guys are anti-Trumpers.
Right.
So I just don't understand, like the Republican voters still love Trump. So I don't get, a lot of people predicted, and we repeated the prediction, that the Trump election would split the Republican Party and make them a weaker party. I think he is making them a weaker party, but the split is happening, but it just isn't actually happening with voters.
Well, because again, and this is something, you talk about it, we all talk about this repeatedly, because the Democrats don't offer anything else.
Right.
If there was like a real populist progressive alternative
offering them something,
saying a workers platform, then a lot of these folks would go, I'm in.
Yeah.
I'm in. I'm on board with this. But this is the problem of the two-party system where they both have big tents. It's bullshit because they don't want to. Because if you just took the hard right people and made them the Republican Party, they would have no base. There's not enough people. There's too many moderates or Reagan Republicans or whatever. They just don't have it. And it's the same thing. The same thing with the left. These two parties need these big bullshit tents because then they can have these ridiculous fights, and the amnesia of the American public, because they're not getting accurate information, is to just keep this football game kicked back for, I love Comey. I hate him. He's the worst. Oh, yeah. Like we're just caught up like it's a football game. Like it.
I agree.
We're not thinking about.
This is living proof of it.
It's right there.
This is living proof of it. Ugh. Our next live Jimmy Dore show is February 1st in Burbank, California. Go to jimmydorecomedy.com for a list of all our live shows, and please become a premium member if you can. Become a patron. It's the way we support this show because they're coming at us, and we give you bonus. We give you hours of bonus material every week. Check it out. Become a patron. And if you can, make sure you're still subscribed. They unsubscribe people every day. I know it sounds crazy. It only takes a second. Please make sure and click that bell when you subscribe so they'll send you a notice when we drop a video. Thanks for your support.